Hi, welcome back to my channel. So this week I'm going to be making a play mat for my ferrets, and I'm super excited because I've wanted to do this forever. So I just want to customize a play mat for them. So to do that, I'm going to start off with just the play mat, and then once I have that kind of together, I'm going to add in things like tunnels and hiding spots and toys or whatever I can do to put on top. So I have an idea in my head, and I'm going to do my best to execute it, and I'm going to do my best to show you how I did that so that if you're interested, you can do the same. I don't think it'll be terribly hard. It's just going to be, I feel like, a combination of a couple of the sewing projects that I do combined into one. So to start, I'm going to start with the mat itself, and I'm going to be using fleece that I got today from the store. It's super cute. It's ladybugs and flowers, and the fabric I got is a flannel. It's a cotton flannel, and this actually is one of those cotton fabrics that come in 108 inches wide. So your typical fabric for cotton, like especially quilting fabric, is comes at about 42 or 43 inches wide, and that's fine, it works. I don't know what possessed me to buy 108 inch wide fabric, but it was on sale and it was super cute, and it just gives me a lot of extra fabric to work with, and it requires me to not have to worry about going over a certain amount of width or doubling up on yardage to create the width that I want. So I really like this. I use this when I make quilts, especially if I'm doing one for my bed, which is a king size bed, and so trying to do the backing of a quilt with 43-inch fabric is really hard. So I got this for this. It's gonna be, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this. I don't know why, but anyway, I'm gonna show you how I do this and how I make the mat. And I'm gonna start by making the mat, and then we will add things in as we go. If you enjoy this video, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel. And without further ado, let's do it. Okay, so what I've done is I've put my fleece piece and my cotton piece right sides together, and then I've taken a piece of batting, which is a crib size piece of batting, and I have used the entire thing, so it's a crib. It's going to be about a crib size play mat, and I'm going to put this on top of my cotton piece, and I will show you guys. And what will happen basically is we're going to sew all the way around, and we're going to leave a small gap so that we can pull it through and then sew it. So we'll have a mat basically. So I will show you that now. So we got the batting, the cotton, and the fleece. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pin all the way around, and I'm gonna leave space about this big to pull it right side in when you're done. So let's pin. So now that we've sewn all four sides, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off any excess fabric along the edges that so that that's not just like causes it to puff out. And then we're going to take the spot that we didn't sew. Mine still has the pins in it, as you can see right along here, and we're going to flip this right sides facing out. this is it. This is the mat. This is the top and the bottom. Okay, so we've made our mat, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make some tunnels, not like just tunnels that they can run through, and that I'm gonna be able to attach to the top of the mat so that it's like a play mat. And to do that, I'm gonna be using some boning, which I got like this, but you can get it at Joann Fabrics, or I got this at Hobby Lobby. You can buy it like by the yard, or you can buy it in a package. You can also get it thicker. This was the only size they had at the store today, so this is the one I'm using. And I think I'm gonna make the tunnels out of some fleece that I have left over that's black, and probably some red fleece that I have too. So I know I'm gonna do a couple of tunnels, and then I'm gonna figure out some other stuff I'm gonna put on my mat for them to play with, and I'm gonna attach everything to the mat, but I'm gonna make all the things that I want first to go on the mat, and then we'll attach them. So let's do it. So you're going to take your cotton piece and your fleece piece, and you're going to place them right sides together. Next, you're going to pin all four sides, leaving a 2 to 3 inch opening on one side so that you can pull it through when you're done sewing so that it's right sides facing out. You're just going to want to trim off any excess fabric. And then you're going to want to fold the tunnel in half long ways. And you're going to want to take your strapping and cut 3 pieces, and you're going to want to pin it with the strapping facing the inside of the tunnel, because once you're done, you're going to flip it inside out, and you're going to want your pieces to be on the outside. Now take this to the sewing machine and just sew along that line where you pinned. Now that the tunnel is right side out, roll each end, and then you're going to take it to the sewing machine and you're going to sew around that circle. Just make sure that you leave a little opening, because you want to be able to fit your boning through. Now you're going to want to feed the boning through that little opening that you left. I used duct tape on the end of my boning because it helped the casing not slide off. And then I was able to just slide it right through. And I cut off any excess boning that was hanging out, just because I cut my piece a little bit too big. But you couldn't see it because it got tucked under. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to add is a hidey hole hammock. And then I think after that I'm going to do like an igloo tunnel. And probably another tunnel. We'll see. Just please note here that the instructions are not clear. You're going to need 2 pieces of cotton or flannel and 2 pieces of fleece. Just 1 piece of batting. First, you're going to take 1 piece of fleece and 1 piece of cotton and place them right sides together. And then you're going to want to pin all 4 sides. This is just to help the fleece not slip when you're sewing. Next, you're going to want to take a cup or a bowl, something that's wide enough or big enough that your ferrets can fit through, and trace that circle in one corner or wherever you want your hole to be. Next, you're going to want to stitch around that circle. Then you're going to take your pins out and cut that circle out. And then you're going to pull your flannel or your cotton through so that its right sides are facing out. You just pull it right through the hole. Next, take your second piece of cotton, put it right sides facing together, and then put your fleece piece on top. And then you're just going to pin all 4 sides. And then just sew all the way around. You don't have to leave an opening. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna make is like a hut or an igloo. For this, I'm gonna use batting and fleece and the cotton. So I will show you how I did that. For this, I decided to use 2 pieces of batting just to help the igloo stand up on its own. I took my cotton piece and my fleece piece and I placed them right sides together. Then I put my batting on top. Following that, I stitched around all 4 sides, leaving a 2 to 3 inch opening so that I could flip the fabric right sides out when I was finished sewing. Once you stitch all the way around, you're going to flip it inside out, and then you want to top stitch around the entire thing. This is to keep that opening closed and also just to hold everything in place. Next, I made a bottom piece, and the size really just depends on how tall you want your igloo to be. So you kind of got to measure it out, and then you want to cut that piece so that the bottom is flat and that you can sew it on to each side. Once I decided on the height of my igloo, I pinned the fleece to the long sides of my fabric, leaving the front and back open. Next, I added my straps, but for these straps, I needed the straps to be facing out because I wasn't going to be turning this inside out anymore. So when you attach your straps, make sure that your straps are hanging out facing you, not inside the igloo. Lastly, I stitched down each side where I had pinned. Okay, so one of the last things I'm gonna make is a snuggle sack, or like, I guess it'll be like a tote bag without handles, basically, because ferrets love bags. So let's do it. For this, you're gonna wanna take your cotton piece and your fleece piece, and you're gonna wanna place them right sides together. You're gonna wanna then add your batting on top, and then your last piece of fleece. You're going to want to pin 3 sides, leaving the top open. So pin both long sides and 1 short side. Sew all 3 sides, and then cut off any excess fabric and turn the sack right sides facing out. Next, you're going to roll down the top, and you're going to pin it in place. Next, you're going to want to sew all the way around just to keep the rolled part in place. Last but not least, you're going to want to lay your mat on the floor and then place your accessories, or all the things that you made, wherever you want to put them. Use pins to hold the straps in place, and then take it to the sewing machine. And I used a zigzag stitch to hold these down, so that they would just not come up and the ferrets couldn't get them up, because they will try. At least mine will. This is what it looked like finished. Well, thank you for joining me. I love the way it turned out. I'm going to go get the ferrets and let them play with it. I'm so excited. I hope they love it as much as I do. Although knowing them, they'll play with it for like 5 minutes and find something else to do. But whatever. I will put links in the description to all of the snuggle sack, the tunnel, and all the things that I made that I attached to the top of the play mat. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please, if you do, please click the like button. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and have an awesome week.